And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Culp. I'm your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Hope you're having a good day. I'm having a good day. The fact I'm here, I'm having a good day. And as always, we're here to talk seriously, serious talk about everything that affects you. We will do the markets. We'll do the economy, your job, your industry, taxes, debt and deficits. We don't use the word tariff anymore, so we say taxes. And just, for lack of a better word, exhausted. I'll explain in a minute, but first, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X, and if you don't follow us on X, you should. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. Got that? And by the way, this weekend we will be working on setting up our new big camera, mic, YouTube, charts, all-encompassing radio show / podcast for you to also see. We'll let you know exactly the date. But before we get going, accountability time. We're going to do this every day at the beginning of the show because I am a determined young man. As I have told you, for a long while, I had these back spasms. They've been gone for a while, but I've been taking it slowly but surely, but I'm really at it now. Today already did 7 sets of chest and buys. That's biceps. Did 100 sit-ups, 3 rounds of boxing, 5 rounds of jumping jacks, basketball jumps, and knee-ups. I call them knee-ups. And tonight I'll be doing the incline trainer up to 10,000 because boy, oh boy, we are a determined bunch, and we're going to make sure we tell you that every day. Ladies and gentlemen, I said the word exhausted. So first off, a couple of things. We have really handled the last few months pretty well. For the most part, we were out of the bearish market and the crash. And we got back in a little bit, not a lot, but as we told you, the number one stock, Netflix, and it remains that way. And now Spotify, that was the other one that's breaking out today. So we're really happy about the handling. But I must tell you, it's getting exhausting having to deal with the constant changes and the yapping from our good president. Now, I'm going to first compliment him because today he did something that was a very good move. He is rescinding global semiconductor chip restrictions that Biden put on 3 tiers. We're happy about that. What we're less than thrilled with, this is a change of his stance from just weeks ago. And we always worry with him, is he going to change his stance on this again? And we say that because the latest news was the Treasury Secretary is meeting with some Chinese trade representatives, and our trade representative, his last name I believe is Greer. And the Treasury Secretary said, no, we're not there to get to a deal yet. That's going to take a while. But we are there in meeting to come down off the mountain. He used the words de-escalation. Good move. We're happy about that. De-escalate. Terrific. Fabulous. Wonderful. The president today undercuts him. I'm not moving on the 145% Chinese tariffs. It's exhausting. It really is exhausting. And I really worry he just says things off the top of his head and just changes the next day. It's exhausting. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have a business that imports a ton of stuff. I'm just imagining all these companies that do have these imports. They must be on Xanax. I want this guy to be so damn successful. I just love what he did on the border. Love. Saving lives. If he never does another good thing, the President Trump, that is magnificent. To unwind that piece of crap Joe Biden, and I'd say that to his face, that opened up the border on person, risking our security. And his own head of Homeland Security said, we don't know if any terrorists got in here or not. And then they would fly people in the middle of the night to different cities and just put them there. Joe Biden should have been impeached just for that. So President Trump on that, love it. But everything else is just becoming exhausting. Exhausting. I can't trust if what he just said today on the semiconductors changes tomorrow. And it came out, by the way, 10 minutes to go in the market, and boom, NASDAQ up 150 points before you can blink. But they'll be down 150 points tomorrow if, you get my point? Exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. We wish him well. We actually wish we were his, what's the main title? It's the woman Susan Wiles. That should be me. Chief of Staff. That should be me. If he ever listened to me, we wouldn't be in this whole tax thing. Notice I didn't say the word. Amongst other things. I digress. We're rooting for him. We really are. Fed day today. And I have to tell you, we have been Jay Powell's biggest critic. I had Biden on my mind. God, I can't stand that guy. I've got to applaud Jay Powell for doing nothing. In the face of the president jawboning him to lower rates, which we think is a mistake. And by doing nothing, the 10-year yield went down again today, which matters 10 times as much, 4.275. Now, I must tell you, there's a buddy of mine, a friend, who I think is one of the most brilliant people on the Fed that disagrees with me. And the only reason I know it because I saw her on TV today, Danielle DiMartino Booth. She thinks that he should cut rates 3 or 4 times. So I could be wrong because she is brilliant. Anyway, my take, though, is less is more from this central bank. They've caused enough problems throughout the years. Printing trillions, distortions up the wazoo, inflation. So I'm applauding him right now for doing less. and a quarter point here and a quarter point there ain't changing my life. We'll keep you up to date. Next, Google, Alphabet, I still don't know why they changed the name, was down $12 today. That's a big move for a mega cap. I believe it's number 5 in the S&P, as well as the NASDAQ 100. Up next, we'll have that news and much more. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So I didn't know this, but Google pays Alphabet, Apple $20 billion a year to be exclusive on their iOS devices. Apple came out and said now they are looking at other AI options. On top of that, Apple said that search declined in April for the first time. So Google was down 7.25% today. It was worse until the market bounced at the end of the day. In fact, it was down about 14. That's to be watched. Google has had its own way on search. It's had its own way on search. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's way up there. Way up there. To be watched. Number 5, influence on the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500. Remember, we're adding both classes of stock. There's GOOG and GOOGL. That was a story today, and that certainly kept some pressure on the NASDAQ today until the end of the day when the president spoke up about the semiconductors. Now, as usual on Fed Day, the markets were just all over the freaking map. They were up 400 on the Dow, and then flat. And I could go on and on, back and forth. The NASDAQ was down 200, then up, then down 200. Finished. NASDAQ was only up 48 points. Because Apple was down and Google was down, the advanced declines were a little better. The Dow was up 284. S&P up 24. NASDAQ 176. The semis finished up 75. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Of note in the Dow today, Disney up 10. In case you don't know, Disney is still down 50%. That's a 5-0 from 2021. No, really. 50% since 2021. So up $10 today. They beat estimates. That's number one. And number two, just better all the way around. I think expectations were kind of low on the parks. Worry about the economy, but sales were up 7%. Earnings were up. They talk big about the cruises and their opening. Abu Dhabi Disney. It's going to be built by an Abu Dhabi company, Mural, but I guess Disney has the name, and I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but it's Disney. They'll be making money off of it. So that was about 60 some odd Dow points. And really just nothing really down in the Dow today. You had like IBM up 4. I still don't get that stock. It's hung in there. Hasn't done anything in a long while. But no sales growth, -5 earnings. What the heck do I know? Just better tone. And I'm going to give some technical analysis lingo to you and start by saying anything's possible. Nothing's 100%. But in our technical analysis opinion, the market sets up pretty well in what I call potentially bullish wedges and flat areas. Just letting you know. Notwithstanding, who knows what's next from what we'll call Mr. Exhaustion. Man, oh man. How do you have your Treasury Secretary and your trade representative go to China to de-escalate, and then you, the president, his boss, their boss, come out and say, screw that. We're not touching those taxes. Welcome to my world. It's fun to be in. But we will tell you we will deal with it. We'll stay on top of it. And just letting you know, regardless of it, market's setting up in here. And let's hope it does the right thing. If price breaks above the last 5 days, we get another leg up. Simple as that. To what extent, we don't know. And if you want to know what we mean by flat areas, one of the names I was watching along the 50-day moving average was NVIDIA. Was sitting in one of these bullish wedges, flat areas, and you know what? Because of the news today, boom, jumped above it. That's what we want to see. Keep in mind, NVIDIA is still down 15% from last June. And still down, I think, 20% from the highs in December. So has work to do. But better day. Because the president said something. And let's hope he sticks with what he says. Because it is exhausting. And I'm not putting him down. I'm just telling you like it is. I get people that love him that know what I'm talking about. I am rooting him on. And I am one that believes he was railroading on a lot of stuff. I am one of those. But completely disagree with him on the January 6th crap that he did all those pardons. We are non-biased here, kids. So the markets today, look at the segue. As I said, good day at the close. It was wild in the last couple of hours because the Fed. In fact, if I get my little... at 2 o'clock... Let me get my bearings here. 41, dropped 200, rallied 300, dropped 200, rallied 250, dropped 250, and then right into the close had that big move off of the president saying something. And finished up 284. We're talking Dow. Hey, up next, what else do we got for you? Thanks for being here. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. I should probably explain what a bullish wedge is. I'll make it easy. Take out a pen. And just draw a vertical line. I'm saying it's vertical. Nothing ever really goes up vertical. Better yet, I'm going to make it even better. Draw a line from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. West to east. From 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then draw that... down from 10 o'clock down to 4 o'clock, but only about a quarter of the way of the line that you did to the upside. Bullish wedge. Simple as that. And a flat area is easy to explain. You draw that first line and then make a right turn and go flat. You don't even pull back. That's what we got a bunch of right now as we head into tomorrow. We call that bullish wedges and flat areas. We use the term bullish because that's what they usually look like before going higher. The problem is we're right at the mercy and in the midst of massive overhead resistance, and we don't know. But if that first high is taken out to the upside, that's good news. And we'll know in the days ahead. Simple as that. And of course, we're in the midst of earnings season. I got a few blow-ups in the aftermarket today, but I got a few big ones to the upside. And today you had a few things on earnings. And all these names, all of them, get on our watch list. We love companies that gap to the upside on good things going on, hold those gaps or just pull back constructively the bullish wedge, and then get on their way again. And there are a few. We avoid the ick, the gaps to the downside, and the downtrends, and the like. And there's been plenty of those also. But right now, better. And I'll tell you what else I like. That the market rallied into the close even though the president undercut his Treasury Secretary. What should have been bearish talk of keeping 145% tariff on Chinese goods. But guess what? Do not forget that the president caved and exempted a crapload of important areas. Remember that? They exempted Apple. You see, when Tim Cook gives the Trump, whatever it's called, $1 million, you get exempted. Oh, there's no cause and effect there, right? Yeah, right. So better. Constructive. With warts. And we are going to be watching very closely Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and those stocks. And hopefully they go topside. Muy importante to have the banks going along for the ride. Gold, well, when the market goes up, gold goes down right now, pulled back. But gold remains strong. Elevated, but strong. I'm not a buyer up here. And I screwed that trade up a long time ago. We had the original breakouts. The original. And did not hold long enough. Oh well. Not an easy business. Tonight, the Knicks, Game 2 against the Celtics. That's very important. Okay, that's our sports commentary of the day. You got to know that my Knicks have not won an NBA championship. Just think about New York. They have not won an NBA championship since when? The 70s? That should be illegal. And I'll never forgive John Stocks for going for 0 for 17 and kept shooting against Houston in that series years ago. But that's for another day. There is a lot of talk out there on the economy and stuff. I'm just letting you know the economy's okay. Softer, but okay. There is no chance of a deep recession or a big contraction until I see the markets really croak, and not just on dumb tax news. Keep in mind that last crash was on the Trump tax news, which they took off very quickly. And I doubt they ever even put that on again. If they do, that'll be their undoing, and of course, unfortunately, will be the victims. So I don't think disaster's ahead. And may I state for the record, there's a lot of people calling for disaster. They're out in droves. End of the world type scenarios. And yeah, I worry. 37 trillion of debt. The Republicans BSing the American public on their latest budget, which is going to add more than 5 trillion to the debt. Yeah, they're really cutting the debt, are they? If they lose the midterms, it'll be on that. In other news, India is at war with Pakistan, 2 nuclear countries. Yay. Unbelievable. I mean, not much. Is Russia-Ukraine still going on? They still won't release the hostages in Gaza. The New York Times still sucks. They were talking about a moral equivalence with Israel and stuff. Release the freaking hostages. Gee whiz. How hard is that to figure out? We're getting past earnings season. We're going back and forth. I think earnings are okay. Nothing spectacular. But we don't really care about that. We're just going to find the ones with the best and the biggest and the best reactions. Get them, then close our eyes, hold our nose, and pray. Which does not work. We've tried. But finish well today. We're told that typically the market will do the opposite the next day after the Fed. We don't buy into that crap. We'll let the market decide. And let me repeat again. Bullish wedges and bullish flat areas. And now the president may have got the semiconductors on the move. They have been very weak and very troublesome. So now the semiconductors are to be watched. Oh, and by the way, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, bullish wedge along the 50-day moving average with a big bounce into the close because of the president. By the way, it went up 80 points because of the president. Good on him. And by the way, in 3 minutes. Lastly, on him, there's too much of him. Like to see less of him. That's not a rib. There's just too much. Up next, any news of the day. Whatever else. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Dun, 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 dun. Yesterday, all the drug stocks and biotechs took another crap. Really got hit hard. The only one that seems to be McKesson is pretty strong, but most everything else has just been absolute disasters. The story goes is the worry about payments going forward. There is a move afoot by this administration on pricing. We're just reading now, President Trump plans to connect the amount the government pays for some drugs to lower prices in foreign nations. We have always heard that if you bought certain drugs in this country, you would pay 80% less than what you pay here. And the excuse has always been, well, there's research and development and all that. That may not hold sway going forward. Just letting you know. There's a reason why United Health stock has also crashed. It's going to be interesting to watch, and this is of import because this will affect where you go in the markets. The worst acting Dow stock is Merck, a great drug company. Horrible stock. Why the markdowns? There is worried about what all these companies are going to be paid going forward. You have to remember, when you have a government that is now being ruled by an administration, I'm using the word ruled, that is determined to lower costs, they are going to look out government payments. And as we have told you for a long time, there has been absolutely zero accountability on what government and where government and how much government writes checks on everything. There's a reason why government contracting stocks have crashed also. 1 + 1 = 2. And we're not putting any of these industries down. We're just telling you facts. We'd be careful about anything that gets a ton of their revenue from government. Simple as that. We think it's already been going on. This is not the first time we have mentioned this. This is not even close to the first time. But there is definitively a move afoot. And let me tell you what I've been reading. The whiners, and just so you know, the media hates Trump. The newspaper hates Trump. If he cured cancer today, they would come up with a reason why that's bad. They're that bad. So what they're doing now, the articles I'm reading, this cut is going to take away research and development on child diseases. Those are the articles. They're coming out left and right. The articles don't mention how much money these different areas have gotten through the years and how the amount of money they have received has gone vertical throughout the years. And they failed to mention that nobody has ever held anything accountable on how and where it's being spent. Just letting you know. There were an inspector generals that are supposed to oversee this. Well, they did not oversee U.S. aid when they were supposed to, and we are finding crap loads of waste in that U.S. aid, who, by the way, does good things, but of course took advantage of no oversight. So just letting you know, I ain't owning any drug companies. I ain't owning any biotech companies. I'm not owning hospitals, HMOs, who get a lot of money from the government. Government contractors, forget about it. There's a whole class of industries I'm not touching. 1 + 1 = 2 in the markets. And they've been getting hit. Just like today, the president said something about the semis, so they went the other way to the upside. If anything changes there, we'll let you know, but just so you know, we've been telling you for quite a while about those areas. This is not a first that we're mentioning it, but I'm bringing it up a little more vociferously right now because, boy, have they crashed these things. They've crashed. Big biotech. Do you know Merck has gone from 134 to 79 in 11 months? Merck! It's a great company. Has done great things. Market don't give a crap right now. If anything changes, we'll let you know. But dang, that's all I got to say. Dang, they've been slamming the heck out of these areas. Go look at Regeneron and Biogen in the big biotech. What's been holding up better? Amgen, even though that's still down. I think that has to do with the Dow. And that be the story on those areas. And as always, if anything changes, we will let you know. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. Go Knicks. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining as always. Good night.